we are all marketers here, and we understand how complex this marketing ecosystem is. It's getting challenging, it's getting complex. Uh, we are all in daily ruts of basically managing our daily KPIs, getting our customer acquisition, getting retention, engagement modules, all of that. But I think a larger question that I want to basically raise here is, are we solving a real problem, or are we solving a syndrome to a problem where the problem is something else? And I want to basically take back to the real problem, yeah? So if you really see, does this look familiar? Does this slide look familiar? I think fundamentally, if you really look at it, for a marketer, both are equally important. You are in need for a new customer. At the same time, your existing customers are equally important. Unless you basically have a module to manage your existing customer, you will end up losing your existing customer. I think we need to avoid the friction points. And what are the friction points? I think about it. If you are an e-commerce company, and if you are basically showing your repeat customer irrelevant product, you're bound to lose that customer. If you are a BFSI customer, and if your onboarding journey is with a lot of frictions, you will miss out the customers. You will not onboard the customers. So how do you essentially avoid the frictions? And I want to basically give you a preview of the basic funnel frictions. So have a look at this. I think these are insane numbers. You look at this, the top of the funnel, where you have your acquisition, you have 50% ad waste going in acquisition. There is a significant 90% discovery identity gap where we're missing out customers which are termed as cookie, and we're not able to get their first party data. There is a very, very significant 90% engagement recession. There is 80% conversation and conversion recession. And there's a very high churn and dormancy that we see about 60%. Now, what it does bring is to, look at the next slide. Okay, what is it leading to? I think we are all obsessed. What is leading to is we are basically in a rut to, go back to our own customers. So it is not acquiring new customers, but technically speaking, what we are doing is we are ignoring our existing customer and looking forward to basically, reacquire our existing ex-customers, right? So I think there's a significant dollar spent, a very, very sizable dollar spent, which are to basically, go back to our own customers, which have only transacted with you once. So the numbers are very starking. About 2/3 of your customers only transact with you once. There are about 9 of 10 messages which are not engaged. And there are about 2/3 of your customers which remains inactive in the entire life cycle. Yeah? Now, if these are friction points, then if this is the model that is not working, then what will work for you? And it's a very interesting saying from Fred Richardson. He's the one who basically created the Net Promoter Score. What he says is something very beautiful. He says there's only one way to grow business profitably, is to basically make sure your customers are treated so well that they come back for more and they bring their customers. So essentially, I think the entire focus in the tech stack has to be built around building a great, personalized, relevant experience and engaging the customer in the channel that they really prefer to engage with. Yeah? I'm going to be today talking about 2 technologies which essentially will bring those aspects of bringing personalization and relevancy and basically taking the channel in an intuitive way. Yeah? So I think my friend Souvik today morning did a very great job in explaining the Agentic AI module. What we are talking about is not AI. It's not about Agentic AI. It's talking about a framework of multi-agent AI, right? And the second aspect is about how the channels are evolving, right? The channels today, as we all understand, is not unidirectional. They are multi-directional. They are conversational in nature. So how do you basically make the maximum of it by basically making relevant conversations with your customers? Now, I want to give you an example. This is a framework. We are all marketers, and we all run campaigns. Imagine we are running a campaign. There are multiple stakeholders that one would have to engage with, starting from insights, where you probably would have to look at what cohort, within the cohort, creating micro cohorts, and within the cohorts, what is relevant, what are the likes and need of that cohort. Then picking that segments and getting the right content, right? The next layer is basically getting the right content for that cohort. Yeah. Once you get the right content for that cohort, the next layer is that, what channels, so creativity, content creativity and the channels, right? So there are multiple layers that you would have to dissect, and it all depends on the several people that you have to work with, right? So now, what it means is that by the time you decide to run a campaign and you actually execute a campaign, it's many times a week or sometimes more than a week that it goes behind it, right? What we are talking about is a framework which is a multi-agent framework, yeah? Where today your agents can basically interact with each other, they can pull the segments, they can pull the insights, they can create content, they can pick the channels, they can optimize the spends between channel, and they can engage, right? So what it essentially means is, instead of basically just deploying AI, today it is going to be bringing a significant efficiency to the marketer. It will be an assistant to a marketer, which will be prompt-driven, right? All you have to do is you have to basically go back to your marketer and set the goals. And the AI will do all of that, right? Of course, this is not going to be a black box. It will need a lot of iteration. It will need a lot of assistance. It will need a lot of data flow to go back to train the models. But eventually, the idea is that it will bring a significant efficiency in the entire model of how marketers operate today with their customers. Yeah? I have some examples of how this entire module of AI has worked for marketers, right? Look at the Fab India campaign, right? We picked up the entire database, we created affinity, and within affinity, we used the channel preferences, and we've seen significant results, right? We've seen 20% more conversion, 6x higher engagements, and that's just one, right? We picked up other where we took category affinity with hair and skin, and we saw very, very significant uptake in the entire engagement modules. Now, I spoke about multi-agent AI bots. We all understand that when you are engaging with your customers, you would need multiple surfaces. You would have to reach your customer on email, app notification, browser notification, WhatsApp, Google messaging, native ads, and many other forms of advertising. What you will eventually see as an outcome of technology is that you will have a single unified content editor which will repurpose your content based on the channel. So you don't have to really create so many content. You can create personalized content-specific, channel-specific content at scale, right? So that's one. The other interesting thing is that the channels today, just touch about it, they are basically evolving. So you don't have to really think about which channel. You would probably come across multiple companies which will give you single interface, a single API, which will engage with channels across multiple surfaces. So whether it is WhatsApp, SMS, voice, Google messaging, you would have single APIs which will basically toggle between channels depending on the preferences and the engagement level that the consumer had with those channels, right? Now, I'm reasonably confident, and I'm just picking this up from some of the past interaction that we had through the day. Most of you are very, very familiar with WhatsApp and Google messaging. I think what is interesting here is that if you pick up all the channels have become interactive now. One thing that most of you may not basically understand and would have known is that today the emails also, the non-interactive emails have also become interactive. With the advent of AMP, within the surface of email, you can basically interact with the customers. You can pick first-party data. You can take NPS scores. In fact, one of the largest banking brand has started taking fixed deposit booking within the surface of emails. So that's how the channels are basically getting interactive, right? And they are not just interactive. They carry rich media. They have interactive templates. They have chatbots on top of it, right? I'm not getting into the results. I think they are all on the screen. This is very interesting, right? Today, each marketer has its own asset. You will have your own website. You will have your own app. But think about it, as a consumer, I may not be very, very comfortable with your app, right? I need a very strong reason to come to your app, which is why some of the channels today becomes very important. And we've done something amazing with HDFC. What HDFC has done is they've created a replica of their app environment on website, which means basically from your KYC to basically picking the fund to doing the transaction, everything happens within the environment of WhatsApp. And this is just one. There are many other cases where a mid-size e-commerce companies are bringing their catalog. A user could discover the product. They can pick the product from their catalog, put in the card, and also do the transaction, right? This is how the seamless experience is getting built. And that is where, the channel 2.0 becomes very, very relevant. Yeah?
Dear Rajesh Verma, every decision...
Okay. Now, when we talk about channel, I think the first thing that comes to our mind is, text and rich media formats, right? Which could be images, which could be PDF, it could be GIF. I think there's something very interesting, and which is where AI becomes very important, is that today you can create, personalization at a scale of 1. So it is basically person cast. So the way we have seen the industry evolving is from a broadcast to a narrowcast to a person cast. And technology allows you to create a cohort or a segment of 1. Now, this is one great example, and I want to basically give you this. You can probably think about it in multiple formats. Think about it if you're a FMCG company or you're a skincare brand, and you are running a chatbot interaction, and you're picking your user to tell about their skin condition. After the conversation is done, you can probably send back a kind of recommendation from the brand ambassador that you have. If you want to take collections, you can probably be more personalized. This is an example of how, a brand is basically using, reminders to basically, renew your policy.
Dear Rajesh
Yeah?
Verma, every decision
Now,
shapes the life you create for your loved
a
ones.
lot of things are
You
happening
have paid
on the
total
fly.
premium of rupees
Your
1 lakh so far.
Your lip syncs
and
are happening on the
accumulated
fly.
rupees
All the
7,100
content that you're seeing,
However,
which is
the
getting
renewal
changed,
premium is
the
currently
images dynamically is
which
getting
means that
changed,
you
right?
stand to lose a lot.
So
Total
this is
maturity
real-time
benefit of
API.
1 crore, 51 lakh,
So today, what you can technically do is, you can engage the customers, take inputs, and get them an experience that will wow them.
Life cover amount 11 lakh to protect your loved ones.
Yeah, I
Tax
just moved
benefits
to-
of the policy.
Yeah.
Without the policy, your nominee Gargi Purohit and your life goals are left uncertain. You've already taken the first step by investing the policy. Don't let it stop now. Renew your policy today. Reach out to your insurance consultant or partner for additional help.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, there are a couple of interesting things that's coming within the channel. I'm sure you know it, but I just want to refresh it. You could do shopping within WhatsApp. You can have personalized offer, and all the signals are coming from your MarTech stack. You could probably create specific codes, and the segments can be created at the level of 1. This is not just at the top of the funnel, this is also happening at the bottom of the funnel. So, you may have, if you're an e-commerce company, you may see a customer dropping from the funnel, and you can send a WhatsApp messages just to basically get the transaction done. Yeah. Now, what's coming next from channel? I think there are a couple of interesting things that's coming next from channel, right? What WhatsApp has understood is that, there are frictions, right? They want to avoid hops. So while you do everything within the environment of WhatsApp, for payments, you are basically redirecting to the users, right? To basically go to other surfaces. WhatsApp is very actively working with most of the payment gateways to ensure that, your transaction also happens natively within the environment. This will avoid the hops, and we've already seen brands which are basically doing native integration are seeing about the jump of about 7 to 8% in transaction and AOVs if the environment is within the WhatsApp, right? The second big shift that WhatsApp is doing, or the channels are doing, is they're trying to create a closed room ecosystem, which means there are ads. When you click on those ads, they will take you on WhatsApp, and then you can build chatbots on top of WhatsApp, which for apps are used for lead generation of sorts. So it allows to basically create a closed loop where if somebody is dropping from the funnel, you can retarget the user within the environment of Meta, which could be Instagram and Facebook, right? The third thing is that the chatbots today are not as if you are basically toggling between frictionless, right? This is all giving you a browser-like experience. So they are very, very native and gives you a browser-like experience. Yeah. The one big thing that's coming from Meta, and this is going to be very interesting, is the entire experience of bringing voice. So today, it was text first, then it came with images, and it brought chatbots interactivity. I think one more thing that Meta is bringing is the element of voice. Now, by bringing voice, think about it that your WABA number or your WhatsApp number becomes universal identity for your brand. If you are a travel company, and assumingly your customers are traveling outside of India, and if there's something that they want to interact with you, today the only way they could interact is to call your toll-free number at an international calling rate, or they interact with your chatbot agents, right? But if they want to call you with this WhatsApp API calling, they can even call your contact center number at no cost, because data globally is free, so they can use this, data number, your WhatsApp calling number, and interact with your contact center. So I think this is going to be a big shift. This will, disrupt the way the contact center business are run today. And this is, we've already seen some excitement, at least in BFSI, travel, and e-commerce businesses, right? So, so what it brings to is a reflection back that, are our traditional marketing model working, right? We've seen our, traditional marketing model evolving to modern marketing. And the modern marketing also has basically seen certain, frictions, right? We have frictions on, ROI. We have frictions on, retaining our customers. We've seen that today, there is excessive spend in basically acquiring customers, and your CACs are only growing. So how do you basically make sure that there is a playbook which helps you basically, grow in a profitable environment? So there is a building block that we talk, which is the building block of neo-marketing, right? I think the fundamental foundation of this is, the big data layer, right? The data lake, which has evolved to customer data platform. The customer data platform today are top with large language models. There are AI agents which are sitting on top of your customer data platform, which is basically creating your, on-the-fly segments, micro segments, all of that. Then on top of it, you have channels which are far more richer, engaging, enriching. And then you basically, create, bots, engagement modules within the channels, which is what we just saw in, emails and Google messaging and WhatsApp. Fundamentally, what it's saying is that, at some point in time, your engines will basically help you identify your best paying customers. So the principle would be that, you create a cohort of your top 40 customers, which gives you the maximum, investments on your business, and you ensure that the experience that you give is a delightful experience, personalized, delightful experience, so that, you improve the customer lifetime value from them. Yeah? There is just one last slide that I want to bring up, how our, entire outlook of marketing has evolved, right? So this is a quick reflection of, how marketing has evolved over the period of time, from traditional marketing to modern marketing, and how we see the new marketing, taking shape. Yeah. So from a brand building, a primary focus from brand building to performance and acquisition to retention and building relationship with your customer, right? From a recall to conversion, from conversion to basically, making sure that you get maximum LTV from your existing customer. You focus on retaining your customer rather than overly obsessed with getting new customer engagement, right? Customer view is from a mass market to segments, and segments to a, cohort of one, right? So that's how we basically see the progressiveness. Yeah, channels from, broadcast to narrowcast or platform dependent to own media. And when I say own media, is all your channels, your app notification, your browser notification, your emails. These are all your own channel, which allows you to create sort of a hotline with your existing customers, right? The unit economics also change, from a high waste, low attrition to a high CAC platform dependency to absolutely, sharper targeting. To your segments and being absolutely relevant. So you're solving the problem of, attrition and high waste. And of course, the last point is value creation, right? So from a building just brand equity to short-term sales to building a sustainable business. Yeah, so that's how we see it. And I think there's a very significant play of tech stack. Largely what I would say is that you would probably see all the different forms of technology merging together, and there's a very strong play of AI which will drive sustainable business for you. That's all I have to say today. Thank you.